I want to welcome you all to this joyous celebration of the love, bonding Mandy and Kory. Thank you all so much for being here. My name is Mike. It is with great pride and joy that I get to say I'm Mandy's dad. I want to welcome you all to the Riverbend farm, also known as the farm where the river sometimes goes straight, as in straight through this barn. As most here know, in 2011, Hurricane Irene dropped many inches of rain on Vermont. This river over here flooded up to 3 inches above this windowsill, which meant it was also that deep over in the house where the cellar was completely submerged. 4 feet deep over the road out there. When the water receded, it left a layer of silt and mud several inches deep right in here. That silt was still here just 6 weeks ago. You know, everybody should have a wedding on their place once in a while. It's a surefire way to get the place picked up in a hurry. Especially if you have a lot of friends and relatives like Kory has. You would not believe the transformation this barn has made. It was a milking barn with 2 rows of metal pipe cow stanchions and a manure gutter all the way around. Kory's dad, Bill, milked here a couple years. Not only was it full of silt, but it was packed nearly to the ceiling with stuff. Some good stuff, including a half-ton stainless steel bulk tank out in the milk house, and some not-so-good stuff. Most of it was Kory's stuff, but some of it was here from the previous owner. The good stuff is now in the trailer next to the barn, and the not-so-good stuff was loaded onto many large trailer loads to be recycled. I want to give thanks to the people who have spent many hard working hours turning this barn and the surrounding grounds into the beautiful space it is now. Number 1, Kory. He spent every day and every evening here. But also Kory's family, including his dad Bill, wife Deb, and Mike, and Carol, and Carol, Jane, and Henry. Kory's brothers Dan, Jesse, Trey, and Chris. His good friends Bob and Justin, Jason, Jacoby, and Brett. And all those whose names I have forgotten. A new 4-inch layer of concrete over everything, power washed the ceiling, cleaned the manure off the walls. Thank you. Apply a nice 2-tone coat of fresh paint, replace and repair the windows, add a heating system, kitchen sink. Now it's an awesome space for a country wedding. Thank you, everyone. Okay, this is the hard part now. This beautiful bride here came into the world a little ahead of schedule. 5 weeks. Her mom, Colleen right over there, was still working and started to bleed at the office. The placenta had started to separate. An emergency cesarean was needed right away. 5 weeks Mandy didn't have to prepare her little lungs to take that first breath. It was a precarious beginning. I feel I aged years that first week, waiting for her lungs to start working on their own. The worry and uncertainty. The tube coming from the incision in her little chest to drain fluid from around her lungs was heartbreaking to see. Thanks to the intensive care nursery at Dartmouth, in time her lungs matured and she was able to breathe on her own. We were able to bring her home the day after Christmas. We placed her under the Christmas tree. It was a very happy day. It seems, not long after she began to walk, as often happens to little girls, she became interested in horses. All she wanted for Christmas and birthdays was toy horses and related accessories. She created the most amazing and detailed farm and ranch dioramas, filling the entire living room floor, many of them of different designs. Not long after that, it seems, came the inevitable question. Dad, could we get a horse? Of course not, was my reply. We can't afford it. We don't have enough land. We don't have a barn or shelter for hay storage. So, not long after, as we're walking this beautiful young filly home from the Silloway farm, her name was Dream. Dad's lawn looked better as a pasture anyway, and his wood shop in the garage was bigger than it needed to be, space needed for hay storage, and lessons in pole shed building for the shelter. Dads of daughters are such pushovers. Dream was a good horse, easily trained. Once, however, one of the first times Mandy took her for a ride outside the pasture, I tagged along, walking behind. Something suddenly spooked Dream, and she instantly did a 180 turn and started to run. Mandy, unfortunately, only did about a 90. And no longer having a horse under her, gravity took over. Thank goodness she wasn't hurt bad, just bruised. I was glad I was there to help her and get Dream corralled. Taking Dream for a walk without other horses was probably not a good idea. Mandy loved that horse and enjoyed working with her nearly every day in the pasture. Unfortunately, one day, unknown to us, our next-door neighbor decided he needed to weed whack along our pasture fence. Whether eating this stuff or not caused Dream to colic, we can't say for sure. It surely didn't help. Colic is fairly common in horses. It's when their digestive tract gets blocked and it's very painful. The vet came but was unable to clear the blockage. We stayed up all night exercising her, trying to clear the blockage. The next morning, she was in such pain, we had to put her down. Mandy's heart was broken. I can only imagine the sadness and despair she felt. Time heals, and a while later, Mandy decided to try again and get another horse. Josie was a beautiful dun, but she just wasn't Dream. Dream was special. We sold Josie back to the family we bought her from. Time to move on, change course. Fast forward, high school senior year. need to choose a senior project. How about raise and train something smaller, much smaller, a puppy? The father of a friend was looking to buy a new puppy and agreed to let Mandy help pick him out and be the focus of her senior project. I have a feeling she did a little more than help pick him out. Enter a little life-changing dog to be named Rusty. Of course, Mandy and Rusty bonded immediately. It soon became clear Mandy had a knack for understanding how dogs think and interact with people and other dogs. I have often wondered how much Rusty had to do with this learning process. Or was it more like an awakening of some innate sense? Anyway, senior project was great. Rusty became a loved addition to school life. Senior project complete, graduation looming. Now what? Time to take Rusty back. This is not going to be easy. The friend's father had other dogs. Did he really need Rusty? He could find another dog. Mandy would never find another Rusty. A deal was made, and they became an inseparable team. As Rusty matured, it became clear he was a fairly athletic little guy, and they might try doing a little agility. Dog agility is a sport in which the handler directs a dog through an obstacle course in a race for both time and accuracy. Both Mandy and Rusty decided this was a lot of fun. In the meantime, Mandy decided she would turn this fun into a career and get a dog training certification from the Animal Behavior College. Part of this training includes mentoring with a local dog trainer who turned out to be Lori. Right over here. At Wagner's Dog Training in Williston. Lori was into agility big time with her dogs and has been a great mentor in all aspects of dog training. With her help and much practice, Mandy and Rusty have a wall full of agility ribbons.
Yay, Russell!
Russell!
Mandy and Lori have much in common, and Mandy became an employee at Wagner and has been ever since. Spunky little dogs sadly age far too fast, and Rusty has had to retire from agility in recent years. Although his spunk is still there, his muscles aren't. They can't carry him over the jumps and through the tunnels and weed pulls anymore. So while Rusty takes a well-deserved rest, there is a new champ in training, Riley, who will no doubt be soon filling his own wall with hard-won and well-deserved ribbons. Now, enter a new passion in Mandy's life. One that would rival even agility. A routine trip to Shaw's supermarket. Some guy in aisle 3 takes note. He decides to stalk Mandy back to her car. And politely, I hope, ask for her phone number, which I believe was freely given. Now, maybe Kory was somewhat flustered, but whatever the reason, the number was not saved properly. Bummer! Mandy has driven off. Now here's where we can bring fate into the story if you are so inclined. It's a snowy, dark evening. On the drive home, Mandy has to pull over a bit to make room for the oncoming snowplow. In doing so, she goes a bit too far. gets caught in the slush on the side of the road and is sucked into the snowbank, getting hung up on a large, hard chunk of icy snow. Drive wheels get no traction. Who should...
Sick that day.
Who should come up behind? Kory, I suspect, cannot believe his luck. He gets a second chance. And with pure brute strength, gets Mandy's car back on the road again. This time, the number is saved. Fast forward again. To some, I suspect I must seem like kind of an old-fashioned day. Again, in the middle of the week, I get an unexpected visit from a daughter's boyfriend. Kory is there to ask me for Mandy's hand. I could not be more pleased. I get to have yet a second incredibly talented and hardworking son-in-law. I consider myself a very lucky man indeed. Now, I'd like to add a few lines from my previous Father of the Bride speech, because I think they are so appropriate. Why is it so many of us get so tearful at weddings? I'm not sure. Two people stand before us, their love for each other so visible, so exposed. Old-timers like myself know it may not always be that way. Time will take its toll. Life will ask steep prices for all its pleasures. But just for this one moment, the radiance of two young people, their life together spread out in front of them, it gives hope and wonder and strength to everyone who witnesses it. Now, to celebrate this wonder and love, in closing, I'd like to propose the first toast to Mandy and Kory tonight. May your mornings bring joy and your evenings bring peace. May your troubles grow few as your blessings increase. May the saddest day of your future be no worse than the happiest day of your past. May your hands be forever clasped in friendship, and your hearts joined forever in love. Your lives are special. Love has touched you in many ways. May its blessings rest upon you and fill all your coming days.
Woo!